This week's community response video, we're talking story mode and what kind of DLC or extra content you guys would like to see at some point in Red Dead. Howdy Cowpoke, AustinBMX here, and thank you for checking out today's community response video. As you can tell, community response videos have moved to Monday if you weren't aware of that. We've mentioned a few times on stream, but that's just to help me make those videos on the weekend. It takes a little bit of time to get these out for you. But this week, we're talking about story mode and what DLCs you may like to see in the future come out. Now, all this stuff is speculation and just what we would like to see. We've actually seen some information from Rockstar that they're not working on any story mode stuff at all, unfortunately, but we still like to see what you guys would like to see and what would be pretty awesome in the game and what you'd actually pay for. So we all know story mode is an amazing game. If you haven't played it yet, highly recommend that. The cinematography and all the emotions, the storytelling in the story mode are amazing. One of the best campaign story mode single player games I've played quite a long time, probably one of my top 3 of all time. Definitely emotional, get invested in the characters, and brings you all the way to the end. Just want more, right? And that's what we're here to talk about. What kind of more would you like inside Red Dead Redemption story mode that would make you happy? Now for us it's kind of hard. We don't want to put out any spoilers in this video, so we won't be talking too much about the outcome or anything different in Red Dead story, because we do know that the game just launched on a few different platforms, maybe some new players watching the channel, so make sure to let them have that experience firsthand. So be careful with your comments and whatnot, and don't spoil anything for there. We're talking about what else we'd like to see. So we all know that the gang hangs out for quite a while and has all that stuff, so we'd have to look more involved with before or after. Unfortunately, after for Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of showcases a little bit in the epilogue, and then of course Red Dead Redemption 1 is based a few years after Red Dead Redemption 2. So that would be kind of hard. DLC in the future would have to be maybe a Jack DLC, and that would be pretty far in the future, and we kind of get out of the Western feel, which Red Dead's kind of in that transitional period. That's mainly most of the story of Red Dead Redemption 2, is how times are changing and the ways of living are changing. So I'm not sure how well DLC after the fact of Jack a little older would do, because it would be early 1900s and they'd have to make an industrial type change in the game, and it would feel a lot different. It definitely would be pretty cool, but it would be a lot different. Now, more on the stuff that we could get into or that would fit more with the game would be before Red Dead Redemption 2, so pre-Blackwater, maybe something to do with how the gang meets up there. Lots of stories you could follow. We do have Sean in online. We also have some other characters from story mode in online, so maybe following them around before they meet up with the gang. Even a young Arthur or Dutch, they know each other quite a lot in their younger years, so maybe to meet up with them, but that's not how kind of Rockstar fits most of their game DLCs and different content. That would a lot of holes that you could create by doing all of that. So maybe something that has to do with the middle factor. Now we do know there's a few years that happen between the end of chapter 6 in Red Dead Redemption 2 and the beginning of the epilogue. So we could follow somebody during that time. There's a lot of great characters we could follow during that time. There's of course Sadie Adler. What happens with her in those few years? Or Charles, what happens with him in those few years? Definitely a lot of awesome possibilities that we could do. Well, let's see what all you guys think and what avenue you would like in the game. Now, of course, I don't have any information on DLC. Rockstar has definitely put out information in a pretty large interview they had recently, that they pretty much said that they are not working on any kind of DLC in the near-seeable future. Their main focus right now in the entire game is focused on online and helping build that community and create our own experiences to have, which definitely is cool. Hopefully we get that online soon. more of a story for us to create for ourselves. But man, the story mode is so good, we definitely would like to see what these other characters do. Let's go ahead and jump in and see what you guys think. So the comments for this is across the board, man. The main comments and what everyone thinks is that story mode is fantastic. Jason comes right out and says, yes sir, story mode was awesome, they need to add more. Aaron comes out and says, I loved story mode. I played the first Red Dead and fell in love with the franchise. The second game was made the experience even better, and I'd happily pay for any DLC. Maybe playing as a young Hosea or Dutch, which we talked about a little bit, to see the gang grow and eventually have the downfall of Blackwater. So that definitely would be one thing that could happen, where we have a prequel, you know, where it just leads up to Red Dead Redemption 2, because when we start the game, they're running from something that happened, and we never really see what exactly happened there. Nathan comes on and says, story mode was fantastic, and I would gladly play for story mode DLC. So many ways you could go. Play as Charles after the epilogue, play as Sadie either before or after the story, or one of, if not the best single player mode ever. So that's exactly what we talked about. Everyone's talking about Sadie would be pretty awesome. Charles, you could do it before story mode or epilogue. There's a few years in there you could play with. Definitely some great ideas. Travis comes on and says, personally, I think story mode is the best game I've ever played. I would definitely pay for any DLC in any direction Rockstar wanted to take it. It takes money and profits for these companies to make incredible games like this for us to play. We've even seen gaming come a long way since Pong and Atari 2600. That's right, it does take a lot of money, paying actors and whatnot, and some of the biggest actors for this game were Dutch and Arthur, so we might not ever see anything with them. That would be a lot of stuff, but maybe some of the smaller characters and be able to build those relationships and those stories up a little bit might save them a little bit of money. And we do know they like money, and online brings them in consistent money, so like we said, this is all just what we hope and would want. It may not ever happen, but it would be a lot of fun. So as we mentioned, the game just came out on a whole bunch of platforms. It actually created a bunch of buzz. The Frontier Pursuits created a whole big old buzz in this game, and sales kind of skyrocketed a little bit there. We actually have a couple of people that either have not played story mode or aren't interested in it, so we want to talk to them a little bit right now. Carlos comes out and says, you addicted to Red Dead Redemption 2, but online only. Just reached chapter 2 in single player. You feel lonely and disconnected, so I only care for multiplayer DLC, and if Rockstar keeps on this path, I will remain a fan for many years, even stop playing GTA. So Carlos, man, yeah, online is awesome. I love playing online with lots of friends, hanging out in the world together. I definitely plan on playing this game for quite a lot of years if Rockstar keeps building in there. But man, you stop playing right in chapter 2. I know it kind of goes slow, especially being still for chapter 1, but man, I highly recommend jumping in there, even if it takes you a year to do the whole thing. Do a little bit here and there. The story is amazing. It's like a real full-on cinematic movie that gets you super invested, man. I highly recommend that. And that moves us right into Gabby Cat, who's one of our Stash Pack members. She says, it's weird that I haven't completed the story mode yet. Jumped right into online, only started the story recently. I think I'm on chapter 3 right now. My issue initially, I don't always like to play games where the only playable character is a man. It's not a strict rule. She goes on to say, for the record, I'm loving the story of Arthur and I wish it started sooner, but DLC with a female playable character would really make the game something special for her. Gabby, thanks for being a part of the Stash Pack. I highly recommend still playing the story. I'm glad you're in chapter 3 right now. It's just starting to get good. Once you get past chapter 3, it starts really picking up and stuff starts getting really crazy. So definitely keep playing it. As far as a DLC with a female character, you know you're in chapter 3 right now. You've learned a little bit about Sadie Adler. You might know her from online as well. She gets even a better character. So I think I would love to play as Sadie Adler, like between chapter 6 and epilogue, you know, because she progresses as a character in the story amazingly, and being able to play for those 2 or 3 years, or actually I think it's even more than that. I think it's 5 or 6 years where we don't know what happened to her would be amazing. Thanks for the comment, Carlos and Gabby. So we got a couple people that definitely, and actually quite a lot of people who would love to see a young Arthur or pre-Blackwater stuff. We got Ken that says he'd really like to play young Arthur and see the Blackwater heist. What happened to his family? Where did Gavin go? In which bar did Dutch meet Micah? There's so many questions. There is. The story does open up tons of questions and actually creates tons of different avenues that Rockstar could bring in some sort of multiple series of DLCs to answer all those stories. And Mystic Mike, Stash Pack member, says Dutch, Hosea, and Arthur the early years, or something with Sadie Adler running and gunning. So these ones go both ways there. Dutch, Hosea, and Arthur, starting to the gang years before Blackwater possibly, or Sadie Adler running and gunning as she does pretty well at the end of story mode. We got a couple more Stash Pack members with some great comments. If you guys are interested in becoming a Stash Pack member, make sure you hit that join button right down there. We got Pony. She says, I think the story mode was one of the best story modes I've ever played. It'd be really cool if we could follow Sadie's story a bit more and maybe even play as her in a DLC. It'd also be cool if we could open up the original Red Dead Redemption map and have a little bit more to do in parts of Tumbleweed and Armadillo. So that's really cool. There's some more comments in there as well that mentioned possibly doing a little bit more with Red Dead Redemption 1, like a remastered. That would be super awesome. I would totally buy that. And Gary comes on and says, unfortunately, I highly doubt we would ever see a story DLC. I agree with you, man. They've come up and said that a few times. I'm sure that Rockstar's focus would be towards online like they have done with GTA 5. Even though I would be more than happy with that, I can't help from feeling a little sad about their direction. Us too, man. There's so much stuff they could do with it. What would be great if they did a remaster of Red Dead Redemption. They already have the world in Mexico is already sort of there. Would give people the opportunity who haven't ever played to find out the fates of John, Dutch, Javier, etc. As in my opinion, the story is slightly better than Red Dead Redemption 2 with loads of colorful characters. Also, let's not forget about Undead Nightmares, Rockstar's Cherry, all-time best DLC. That is right, man. They even mentioned that a little bit in their recent interview. So hopefully maybe in the future we'll get something small. Don't really know if we will. Online's their money maker right now. If they don't make a story mode DLC, hopefully they give us maybe a few more characters brought into online and we can kind of see their story a little bit. We have a couple of them now. We got Sean and we got Sadie now, and Black Bell's down there, so we can kind of see her before story mode. So maybe that's what they're planning on doing now. Maybe if they just incorporate some of those characters into online, it would kind of be like we're part of the story. That'd be another avenue they could take. So to end today's discussion around the campfire, we actually got a question to answer here from one of our great viewers. Martin says, I have been targeted for assassination 3 times. How is this happening? Any feedback? Well, I imagine you are mentioning Stranger Mission player assassinations. Unfortunately, Martin, that's all random. You're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So anytime someone goes to a Stranger Mission, i.e. it could be Sean, a couple other ones give them, and they get the option to do a player assassination, if they select that Stranger Mission for them to get a little bit of gold, I'm pretty sure the game randomly picks someone that's fairly close to that player. So you might just be at the wrong place at the wrong time, Martin. I'm sorry, man. Hopefully you got away a few times. Hopefully it wasn't a whole posse chasing you down. But either way, if I ever get targeted for assassination, I'll usually just walk up to the person and say, okay, man, shoot me so I can go my merry way and you can get your gold, because I don't want to sit here and fight you over and over again. Hopefully they shoot me, they go on their merry way, and they don't think that they just need to continue that in free roam. But hey guys, I hope you liked this little discussion video on Red Dead Redemption Story Mode. What you guys like to see? If you did, make sure to smash that like button. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing to the channel for more Red Dead Online content, including tips and tricks, news updates, gameplay, just good old-fashioned fun. Hope to see you on the prairie sometime, but until then, see you later.